In just 32 seconds, a music legend was silenced, humiliated on live television, and forced to walk off set after the host completely lost control. What was supposed to be a celebration of an iconic career turned into one of the most explosive meltdowns daytime TV has ever witnessed. And it's all Jennifer Hudson's fault. Before we dive into this absolute train wreck, make sure you subscribe to this channel. We bring you daily videos exposing Hollywood's darkest scandals, the confrontations they don't want you to see, and the truth behind those fake smiles. Hit that subscribe button right now, because this one is going to blow your mind. Last night, Jennifer Hudson's talk show became the scene of what insiders are already calling the most disrespectful moment in daytime television history. The queen of funk herself, Chaka sat down for what everyone expected would be a warm conversation between two powerhouse vocalists. Instead, what unfolded was a masterclass in how not to treat a living legend, ending with Chaka storming off the set, while Jennifer Hudson sat there looking absolutely stunned at what she had just done. The show opened normally enough. Jennifer introduced Chaka with all the usual praise, talking about her incredible career, her influence on music, her 10 Grammy Awards. Chaka walked out to massive applause from the studio audience, looking absolutely stunning in a flowing purple outfit, her signature wild hair perfectly styled. She waved to the crowd, blew some kisses, and sat down across from Jennifer with a warm smile on her face. "It is such an honor to have you here," Jennifer said, reaching across to touch Chaka's hand. "You are literally one of the reasons I even wanted to sing." "Thank you, baby," Chaka replied, her voice warm and genuine. "That means the world to me." For the first few minutes, everything seemed fine. They talked about Chaka's early days with the band Rufus, her transition to a solo career, and some of her biggest hits. Jennifer asked about "I'm Every Woman," and Chaka lit up, telling stories about recording the song and how it became an anthem. The audience was eating it up, laughing at the funny moments and applauding at all the right times. But then Jennifer shifted gears, and you could see the energy in the room start to change. "So, I want to talk about something that's been in the news lately," Jennifer said, and her tone became more serious. "There's been a lot of conversation about your performances over the past few years. Some people online have been saying that maybe you've lost a step, that the voice isn't what it used to be." The smile on Chaka's face froze. The audience went quiet. You could literally feel the tension slam into the room like a brick wall. "Excuse me?" Chaka said, her eyebrows raising slightly. "I'm just saying what people are talking about," Jennifer continued, and there was almost a challenging edge to her voice now. "Like that performance you did last year at the tribute concert. A lot of people were saying you were off-key, that maybe it's time to think about stepping back." Chaka sat up straighter in her chair. Her whole body language changed in an instant. "First of all, I don't know what people you're talking about. Second of all, I've been singing professionally for over 50 years. I think I know a little something about my own voice." "I'm not trying to be disrespectful," Jennifer said, but her face said something completely different. There was almost a smirk there, like she was enjoying this. "I'm just asking the question that's on everyone's mind. You're 71 years old. That's a lot of miles on those vocal cords. And you're what, 43? Chaka shot back, her voice getting sharper now. "Let's see how you sound when you're my age, after you've put in half the work I've put in." The audience was dead silent now. A few people gasped. Jennifer's smile got tighter, more forced. "I think I'm doing pretty well for my age," Jennifer said. "I mean, I just won another Grammy last year. My voice is still in its prime." "Good for you," Chaka said flatly. "You want a cookie?" That got a nervous laugh from a few people in the audience, but you could tell this was spiraling fast. Jennifer's face flushed slightly, and she shuffled the note cards in her hands. "Look, I think it's a fair conversation to have," Jennifer pressed on, and this is where you could see she was making a massive mistake, but just couldn't stop herself. "The music industry is tough. People want to hear artists at their best. And if you're not at your best anymore, maybe it's time to pass the torch to the next generation." Chaka's eyes went wide. "Pass the torch? Baby, I am the torch. You and everyone else in this industry are just borrowing the fire I created." "That's a little arrogant, don't you think?" Jennifer said, and now there was no hiding the attitude in her voice. "Arrogant? Arrogant? Chaka's voice rose, and she leaned forward in her chair. You invited me on your show to disrespect me? To sit here and tell me I'm washed up? I didn't say washed up. Jennifer backtracked slightly, but it was too late. I'm just having a real conversation. A real conversation would involve you showing some damn respect, Chaka snapped. I was selling out arenas before you were even born. I was winning Grammys when you were in diapers. And you're gonna sit here on your little daytime talk show and question my legacy? The audience was completely riveted now. Some people looked uncomfortable, shifting in their seats. Others had their phones out, clearly recording. Jennifer tried to regain control of the situation. Chaka, I think you're overreacting, she said, and that was possibly the worst thing she could have said. Overreacting? Chaka stood up from her chair, and the audience gasped. You just spent the last 5 minutes trying to tear me down on national television, and I'm overreacting? Sit down, please, Jennifer said, also standing up. Let's just take a breath and… Don't tell me what to do, Chaka interrupted, her voice like steel. You don't get to do that. Jennifer's producers were clearly panicking. You could see people off camera waving their hands, trying to signal something. But Jennifer, instead of de-escalating, decided to double down on the worst decision of her career. This is my show, Jennifer said, her voice getting louder. My show, and I can ask whatever questions I want to ask. Then ask better questions, Chaka fired back. Ask questions that show you actually respect the people you invite here. Ask questions that show you understand what it means to be a real artist, not just someone who got famous from a reality show and got lucky. The audience let out a collective, ooh, at that one. Jennifer's face went from flushed to bright red. I won an Oscar, Jennifer said, her voice shaking with anger now. I won an Oscar before I even turned 30, so don't stand there and act like you're better than me. I never said I was better than you, Chaka said, grabbing her purse from beside her chair. But I do know how to treat people with respect, which is apparently something they didn't teach you. If you can't handle tough questions, maybe you shouldn't be doing interviews. Jennifer shot back. Chaka stopped and turned back to face her, and the look on her face was pure fury. Tough questions? You think that was tough questions? Baby, those were insults wrapped up in fake concern. There's a difference between being a tough interviewer and being a straight-up bitch, and you just crossed that line. The audience erupted. Some people were cheering, others were gasping in shock. Jennifer looked absolutely floored that Chaka had just called her that on live television. You need to leave, Jennifer said, pointing toward the exit. Right now, get off my stage. Oh, I'm leaving, Chaka said, starting to walk off. Don't you worry about that. I'm leaving because I have too much self-respect to stand here and let some wannabe tear me down for ratings. Wannabe? Jennifer's voice cracked. I'm a wannabe? Are you serious right now? Chaka turned back one more time, and this is when she delivered the line that's already going viral on social media. Honey, you might have talent. You might have awards, but you don't have class. And that's something no Grammy can give you. Jennifer's mouth dropped open. She looked like she'd been slapped. The audience didn't know whether to applaud or stay silent. Most of them stayed silent, too shocked to react. Get out, Jennifer shouted, her voice breaking. Security, get her out of here. I'm already going, Chaka said calmly, even though her voice was filled with barely contained rage. I don't need security to escort me. I know where the damn door is. She started walking toward the exit, and Jennifer apparently couldn't let it go. You're just bitter, Jennifer called after her. Bitter because your time is up and you can't accept it. Chaka stopped dead in her tracks. For a second, everyone thought she might turn around and come back. But instead, she just shook her head, let out a bitter laugh, and kept walking. That's right. Walk away, Jennifer continued, and you could hear the desperation in her voice now. Just like you always do when someone calls you out. Chaka didn't respond. She just held her head high and walked straight off the set, past the cameras, past the crew members who were all standing there with their mouths hanging open, and disappeared through the studio doors. The second she was gone, the audience exploded. Some people were clapping, some were booing, and everyone was talking at once. Jennifer stood there on the stage, breathing hard, her carefully styled hair now slightly messy from all the movement and emotion. She tried to compose herself, smoothing down her dress and pushing her hair back. Well, she said, trying to laugh it off, but failing miserably. That was unexpected. The audience wasn't buying it. Someone in the back yelled, "That was wrong!" And several people agreed loudly. Jennifer's smile completely disappeared. "Look, I was just trying to have an honest conversation," she said, her voice defensive now. "I asked legitimate questions that people want to know the answers to." "You were disrespectful," someone else shouted from the audience. Jennifer's eyes flashed with anger. "I was doing my job. If she can't handle it, that's on her, not me." The audience started booing, actually booing. Jennifer looked shocked, then angry, then almost hurt. Her producers were definitely screaming in her earpiece now because she touched her ear and her expression changed again. "We're going to take a commercial break," she announced, but her voice was shaky. "We'll be right back." The cameras cut, but not before catching Jennifer turning to one of her producers and saying, "What the hell just happened?" Her microphone picked it up clear as day. "What happened, Jennifer, is that you disrespected a living legend on live television. You questioned her talent, her relevance, and her legacy. You talked down to a woman who has been in this industry longer than you've been alive. You treated her like she was some washed-up nobody instead of the icon she is. And worst of all, you did it for ratings. You did it because you thought it would make good TV. You thought you could take shots at Chaka and come out looking like some tough, no-nonsense interviewer. Instead, you came out looking petty, jealous, and mean. The really crazy part is that Jennifer could have stopped this at any point. When Chaka first pushed back, Jennifer could have apologized and changed the subject. When the tension started building, she could have de-escalated. When Chaka stood up, she could have backed down and tried to smooth things over. But she didn't. She kept pushing and pushing until Chaka had no choice but to leave. And then, even after Chaka was trying to walk away with dignity, Jennifer kept going. She kept shouting, kept trying to get the last word, kept trying to make Chaka look bad. But all she did was make herself look worse. The audience knew it. You could see it on their faces. They didn't come to watch someone tear down a legend. They came to celebrate her. And instead, they got to witness one of the most uncomfortable moments in talk show history. As the commercial break started, several audience members got up and left. They didn't want to stick around for the rest of the show. They'd seen enough. Some of them were on their phones immediately, probably posting about what they'd just witnessed. Others were talking to each other, shaking their heads in disbelief. On stage, Jennifer was surrounded by her producers, all of them talking at once. She had her hand on her forehead, clearly stressed. One producer was trying to reassure her. Another was probably telling her how to handle the rest of the show. And a third was almost certainly calculating how much damage control they were going to have to do. But here's the thing. There's no coming back from this. You can't put this genie back in the bottle. The moment is out there. The footage is out there. Chaka walking off the set, Jennifer Hudson yelling after her, the audience booing. It's all captured forever. Jennifer Hudson tried to take down a legend and ended up destroying her own reputation instead. She thought she was being bold and edgy, but she was just being cruel. She thought she was asking tough questions, but she was just being disrespectful. She thought she could win this confrontation, but she lost the moment she started it. Chaka walked off that stage with her dignity intact, her head held high, and her legacy untouched. She didn't need to stay and argue. She didn't need to defend herself beyond what she'd already said. She just needed to leave, and in leaving, she proved everything she'd said about class and respect. Jennifer Hudson, on the other hand, stayed on that stage and showed the world exactly who she is when the cameras are rolling and things don't go her way. She showed that she can dish it out but can't take it. She showed that she's willing to hurt someone else for a viral moment. She showed that awards and fame don't automatically come with wisdom or grace. The most damning part of all of this is that Jennifer had every opportunity to make this right. She could have apologized. She could have admitted she went too far. She could have shown some humility. But instead, she tried to justify it. She tried to blame Chaka for being too sensitive. She tried to make it seem like she was the victim here. But the audience wasn't buying it. The internet isn't buying it. And Chaka definitely isn't buying it. This wasn't just a heated interview that got out of hand. This was a calculated attempt to diminish someone's legacy that backfired spectacularly. This was a younger artist trying to assert dominance over an older one and failing miserably. This was disrespect, plain and simple. And Chaka Khan wasn't going to stand for it. She didn't have to. She's Chaka Khan. She's a 10-time Grammy winner. She's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She's influenced countless artists across multiple generations. She doesn't need Jennifer Hudson's show. She doesn't need Jennifer Hudson's approval. She doesn't need any of it. So when Jennifer pushed too far, Chaka did the only thing she could do while maintaining her dignity. She left. She removed herself from a toxic situation. She refused to participate in her own disrespect. And in doing so, she made Jennifer look exactly as bad as Jennifer made herself look. The final image of this disaster was Chaka Khan walking away, while Jennifer Hudson stood on that stage, alone, with an audience that had turned against her, and producers who were probably already planning crisis management meetings. It was a perfect encapsulation of what happens when you come for a legend and miss. Chaka Khan walked out those studio doors and didn't look back. She left Jennifer Hudson standing there with the mess she'd created, the audience she'd alienated, and the reputation she'd damaged. All in just 32 seconds of complete chaos that will be remembered as one of the biggest mistakes in daytime television history.